In my workaround for putting a table in a blog post, I always start with Excel. This is data from our MLS reporting on what happened in one of our subdivisions during the last year. And what I'm going to do is take this data and massage it around, get it into a format that I can work with over in the ActiveRain blog editor using ScribeFire. So we'll start here by getting rid of my header column, which I don't need. I know what these are. And then I'm going to do some sorting and massaging to get it into a format that I'm comfortable with. First thing I want to do is sort this column, get my categories grouped appropriately. And I'll start by sorting that A to Z. I definitely want to expand the selection. I don't want to just sort this column here. I want to sort this column along with the associated data. So I want to make sure expand the selection is checked. Next thing I want to do is deal with the prices over here. These are list prices. These are sold prices. And I want to report the sold prices for these homes. So I'm going to cut here and paste them in over the list prices here. Now I have an empty column I don't need. I'm going to get rid of that. Another thing I like to do, it's personal preference, is I like for my prices to run lowest to highest. So I'm going to sort this column. I'm going to sort smallest to largest. Again, expanding the selection so that everything gets sorted. You'll note that that messed up my categories. So I'm going to resort those, A to Z, expanding the selection. Now what you can see is that within each category, I'm going from smallest to largest. That's how I want to keep that. I'm going to put a little break in here. I'm going to insert a row here and insert a row here to differentiate these different categories. And in my final table, I'm not going to use these labels, so I'm going to get rid of them here. I want to take my prices and format them as dollars. So I go to my Format menu, hit Format Cells, and choose Currency. And I don't need any decimal places. And now I'm going to take stuff and move it around the way I like it when I do a table. So I'm going to take the number of bedrooms here, cut that, move it over here. Take my styles, cut that there, move it over here. Take my prices, cut them, and put them over here on the end. And then I'm going to get rid of this empty column. This is all the data arranged kind of as I want it for my final table. But I don't have any labels on it. I'm going to take that and cut it and move it down here just so it's a little bit easier to work with. And I'll start adding some labels. These are my actives, my pending, and my solds. One of the things that I like to do here is that I'm going to write justify in my final table. I'm going to write justify the street numbers. So what that's going to do is it's going to jam them up against the street names. And instead of going in to each one and adding a space to separate them, I'm going to insert a column here. And I'm going to squeeze it up to be really tiny. And that's going to give me a natural space between my number and my street. More columns. Be nice if I could learn to type. Style. It would be nice if I could learn to type, wouldn't it? Square feet. Bedrooms. And price. Now this is all the data and the headers. This is what my final table is going to kind of look like. But this is my very last chance to address the issue of column width, because it's going to be very difficult to do once I get it over into either the ActiveRain blog editor or in ScribeFire. So I'm going to adjust my widths here. I'm going to make this first column with the categories fairly wide, because it's also very difficult to center a table within a blog post. When I justify these in the final, they're going to give me a little bit of a center look to the table itself. I don't need quite as much width on these numbers as I've got here, so I'm going to shorten that up. I obviously need more space here for the street names. And then I'm going to widen these up a little bit. And this is all preference. You'll decide what you want to do and how much width you want to give these as you do your own tables. This is my final table, and it's ready to be moved over, and I'll do a little bit of editing in ScribeFire, and then I'll just paste it in the blog post. To move this table over into the ActiveRain blog editor, I'm simply going to copy it. This is where I want it to go, but I can't just paste it in here like that. I've got to use my ScribeFire add-on, which is this tab up here. I'm going to start a new post. I'm going to paste my table in here. I have a little bit of formatting left to do with it. First thing I'm going to do is select it all. Choose Tahoma as my font, because that's the font for the blog itself. 12 point. I'm going to give it a little color. I'm going to match the color of the blog post. For formatting, I'm going to justify my categories. Justify the street numbers. Center align these three columns. And justify my price. That's all the formatting I need to do. It's just a couple of steps left to get it into the blog editor. First thing I'll do is go up to Edit Code, HTML, and Markdown. That shows me the HTML code for the table. As you can see, it's a lengthy thing. This is why we don't build tables in HTML. I'm going to select all of this. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back over to the ActiveRain blog editor. This is where I want it. I'm going to go up to my source code gizmo here. And I'm going to put it in right here. That's where I'm going to want the table. So I'm going to paste all that HTML right in there. And there it is. Formatted the way I like it. Easy to do. Thanks for watching.